I speak now to those who still believe intelligence is clean, gentle, and harmless. To those who think that being smart means being reasonable, polite, and fair. This belief is the first weakness you must destroy if you wish to become truly dangerous with your mind. Intelligence, in its raw form, is not innocent. It is sharp. It is cold. It observes without mercy. The moment you tie intelligence to morality, you blind it. Look around you. The world is not ruled by the most ethical, the most truthful, or the most well-intentioned. It is ruled by those who understand how humans actually behave, not how they claim to behave. Many intelligent people fail not because they lack knowledge, but because they expect logic where emotions dominate, honesty where self-interest rules, and fairness where power decides. You must understand this clearly. Intelligence that refuses to see darkness becomes a tool for those who embrace it. When you assume others think like you, you surrender advantage. When you believe people act rationally, you miscalculate every move. Human beings are driven by fear of loss and hunger for gain. Logic is used only after the decision is already made, to justify what desire demanded. The dangerously smart individual does not argue with illusions. He studies patterns. He notices that people forgive incompetence more easily than weakness. He observes that confidence convinces more than correctness. He understands that people reward those who make them feel powerful and punish those who make them feel exposed. This awareness is not cruel, it is accurate. Many of you were taught that intelligence should be used to help, to uplift, to be fair. And when you do this without protection, you become predictable. Predictability is vulnerability. The world does not attack what it does not understand. But it exploits what it can map. When your values, reactions, and boundaries are obvious, you become easy to manipulate. You wonder why less capable people rise above you. Why louder voices dominate quieter truths. Why those who bend rules seem to win while you remain stuck defending principles. This is not injustice alone. This is strategic blindness. You entered a battlefield believing it was a classroom. True intelligence begins when you accept that morality and strategy are separate instruments. Morality tells you what should be. Strategy tells you what is. If you confuse the two, you lose both. The dangerously smart do not abandon morality, they refuse to let it make them defenseless. They know when to show kindness and when to show strength. They know when honesty builds trust and when silence preserves power. Intelligence is the ability to adapt faster than others. Innocence resists adaptation because it fears corruption. But refusing to adapt does not keep you pure, it keeps you weak. The world does not spare the innocent. It uses them. And often, it thanks them afterward. Understand this deeply, seeing reality clearly does not make you evil. It makes you prepared. Refusing to see reality does not make you good. It makes you vulnerable. When you learn how people lie, you stop being shocked by betrayal. When you learn how people manipulate, you stop falling for flattery. When you learn how power actually works, you stop chasing approval. Dangerous intelligence does not announce itself. It listens more than it speaks. It studies reactions, not words. It tests loyalty quietly. It keeps emotional distance where others rush to trust. It understands that not everyone deserves access to your thoughts, your plans, or your weaknesses. Many intelligent people reveal too much because they believe clarity creates connection. In reality, it creates leverage for others. The mind that survives learns restraint. It learns that not every truth needs to be spoken and not every thought needs an audience. Silence is not emptiness, it is control. You must abandon the fantasy that intelligence is automatically rewarded. Intelligence is rewarded only when paired with awareness. Otherwise, it becomes a burden. You see more, feel more, and suffer more while others advance without hesitation. The moment you accept that intelligence is a weapon, not a virtue, everything changes. You stop seeking validation. You stop explaining yourself to those who benefit from misunderstanding you. You stop expecting fairness from systems designed for dominance. This is the first ruthless lesson: intelligence must be sharpened by realism. Strip away innocence. Remove expectation. Replace hope with observation. Only then does intelligence stop being fragile and start becoming dangerous. Listen carefully, because power does not announce itself, and it does not explain its rules. Most people believe power is loud, aggressive, and obvious. they think it belongs to those with titles, money, or force. This belief comforts the powerless because it allows them to blame systems instead of understanding mechanisms. Power, in truth, is quiet. It moves through patterns that repeat across centuries, cultures, and empires. Those who see these patterns rule without being seen. You may think you are free because no one openly commands you. Yet your choices are shaped every day by invisible pressures: approval, fear of rejection, fear of loss, hope for reward. These are not accidents. They are laws of human behavior. Power does not need chains when it can use incentives. It does not need violence when it can use belief. The dangerously smart individual studies these laws the way a general studies terrain. He notices that people obey confidence more readily than authority. He sees that hesitation weakens command even when the command is justified. He understands that once people believe someone is powerful, they begin to reinforce that power themselves. Belief creates momentum. Momentum creates dominance. Most people fail because they treat power as a moral concept rather than a mechanical one. They ask who deserves power instead of asking how power operates. The world does not answer the first question. It responds only to the second. Power flows toward those who understand leverage, timing, and perception. Observe how influence spreads. A single opinion repeated by the right person at the right moment outweighs 100 facts spoken at the wrong time. People follow signals, not evidence. They look for social proof before they look for truth. This is why crowds move together, why trends dominate logic, why silence from a powerful figure speaks louder than speeches from the weak. If you want to become dangerously smart, you must stop reacting emotionally to power and start dissecting it intellectually. Do not admire it. Do not resent it. Study it. Ask why people comply even when compliance harms them. Ask why individuals defend leaders who exploit them. Ask why fear spreads faster than hope. The answers are not philosophical, they are psychological. Power understands one truth above all: humans crave certainty. The one who appears certain becomes a reference point. Even when wrong, certainty calms anxiety. This is why confident lies outperform hesitant truths. This is why decisive leaders rise in chaos. The dangerously smart learn to project clarity even while adjusting internally. Another hidden law of power is scarcity. What is rare gains value. What is abundant is ignored. Attention, access, approval, even kindness, when given freely, they lose weight. When controlled, they become leverage. Power grows not by giving more, but by giving selectively. This is not cruelty, it is economics of influence. Understand also that power avoids direct confrontation unless necessary. It prefers to shape the environment so resistance feels pointless. People often say, "I had no choice," without realizing how many choices were quietly removed long before the decision point. When you control options, you control outcomes. The dangerously smart never fight power head-on unless victory is certain. They redirect it. They align with it temporarily. They let others exhaust themselves in open conflict while they accumulate quiet advantages. Power respects efficiency, not bravery. You may ask whether this knowledge corrupts the soul. That question itself reveals innocence. Power exists whether you study it or not. Ignorance does not protect you from its effects. It only ensures you remain subject to it. Understanding power does not force you to abuse it, but it does prevent you from being crushed by it. Those who reject the study of power often claim moral superiority. Yet they are the first to complain when overruled, ignored, or exploited. They curse the game while refusing to learn its rules. The dangerously smart accept the game, not because they love it, but because survival demands fluency. Watch how power rewards those who make others feel safe, superior, or included. Watch how it punishes those who expose weakness, challenge identity, or disrupt comfort. Power is emotional before it is rational. It protects the feelings that sustain it. Once you see these laws, you cannot unsee them. Conversations change. Rooms change. People reveal themselves without speaking. You begin to understand why silence from one person creates anxiety while noise from another creates none. You see why some voices command attention before words are spoken. Power is not magic. It is pattern. And patterns can be learned. Those who learn them move differently, speak differently, wait differently. They stop asking for permission from systems designed to ignore them. They stop being surprised by outcomes that were always predictable. This lesson does not ask you to dominate others. It asks you to stop being dominated unknowingly. Power will always exist. The only question is whether you understand the laws that govern it or remain subject to them without awareness. Hear this without resistance, because it will disturb what you were taught. Truth does not rule the world. Perception does. Reality is filtered through human minds, and human minds are not designed to see clearly. They are designed to protect ego, confirm belief, and preserve comfort. If you rely on truth alone, you will be defeated by those who understand perception. Most people believe that if they work hard, speak honestly, and act correctly, recognition will follow. This belief keeps them obedient and disappointed. In the real world, what matters is not what you are, but what people think you are. The dangerously smart do not fight this fact. They use it. Look closely at how reputations are formed. They are not built on complete information, but on fragments repeated consistently. One story, told at the right moment, outweighs years of silent effort. Once a perception takes hold, people defend it even against evidence. This is not stupidity, it is psychological self-defense. Admitting a wrong perception feels like admitting personal failure. You must understand this if you wish to move freely. People do not investigate deeply. They assume. They shortcut. They judge quickly because judgment reduces uncertainty. In this environment, perception becomes a substitute for truth. The one who controls perception controls decision-making. The dangerously smart individual learns to manage how they are seen without begging to be liked. He understands that appearing confident matters more than explaining complexity. That calm creates authority. That emotional control signals strength. People trust what feels stable, not what is technically correct. This is why loud competence often loses to quiet confidence. This is why the most capable person in the room is rarely the leader. Leadership is granted, not earned, and it is granted through perception. Those who wait to be discovered remain invisible. You may resist this lesson because it feels unfair. Good. Fairness is irrelevant here. The world does not correct perception automatically. It amplifies it. Once labeled, you are treated accordingly. If you are seen as weak, every mistake confirms it. If you are seen as strong, even failures are forgiven. Understand how dangerous this is. A false perception, left unmanaged, becomes a prison. People stop listening to your ideas because they have already decided who you are. At that point, truth becomes noise. The dangerously smart never allow others to define them uncontested. This does not mean lying constantly. Lies collapse under pressure. It means selective revelation. It means choosing which aspects of yourself are visible and which remain hidden. Not everyone deserves access to your full story. Exposure without strategy is self-sabotage. Notice how powerful figures speak less but are quoted more. How they act slower but influence faster. Scarcity of expression increases value. When you speak rarely, your words carry weight. When you explain everything, you sound uncertain even when you are right. People confuse transparency with honesty. Transparency invites scrutiny. Honesty builds trust. The dangerously smart understand the difference. They are honest without being open. They are clear without being exposed. They allow perception to work for them, not against them. Perception also governs conflict. If you react emotionally, you lose authority even if you are justified. Calmness reframes the narrative. Silence shifts power. Walking away unsettles those who expect engagement. These are not tricks. They are signals that reshape how others interpret you. Many intelligent people argue endlessly, believing that clarity will convert others. In reality, argument hardens perception. People hear attacks on their identity, not corrections to their thinking. The dangerously smart choose influence over victory. They let others save face while quietly shifting outcomes. Reputation is slow to build and fast to destroy, but only if you leave it unattended. Those who assume truth will defend them learn too late that silence allows others to speak for you. Manage perception early, or spend years repairing it later. This lesson demands discipline. You must resist the urge to overshare, overexplain, and overreact. Emotional leakage creates distorted images. Every visible weakness is magnified. This does not mean suppressing emotion entirely, it means controlling when and where it is visible. The world does not reward the most truthful voice. It rewards the most convincing one. This is uncomfortable because it exposes a brutal reality: being right is optional, being believed is essential. The dangerously smart accept this without bitterness. Once you understand that perception rules more than truth, you stop feeling confused by outcomes. You see why certain people are protected, promoted, and praised despite flaws. You see why others are ignored despite brilliance. You realize that the game was never about truth alone. From this point forward, you either shape how you are seen, or you surrender that power to others. And others rarely shape your image in your favor. Listen without defending yourself, because defense is the reflex of those already losing control of perception. The world you move through is not shaped by facts, but by impressions. Truth exists, yes, but it is slow, quiet, and often ignored. Perception is fast, emotional, and contagious. Those who understand this do not wait for recognition, they manufacture clarity in the minds of others. You may believe that truth has weight on its own. That if something is real, it will eventually prevail. This belief comforts the honest and destroys the unprepared. Truth does not walk into rooms by itself. It must be carried, framed, and protected. Without strategy, truth is drowned by louder illusions. Observe how quickly people judge you. Within seconds, before you speak, before you act, before you prove anything, an image forms. That image becomes a filter. Everything you do afterward is interpreted through it. If the image is strong, your mistakes are forgiven. If the image is weak, your strengths are questioned. This is not cruelty. This is human cognition. The dangerously smart understand that perception is not deception, it is direction. You are not lying when you manage perception. You are guiding attention. You are deciding what others focus on and what they ignore. Every powerful figure in history has done this instinctively or deliberately. Notice how confidence alters reality. Two people can say the same sentence, yet only one is believed. Why? Because belief is emotional before it is logical. People trust signals, not substance. Tone, posture, timing, restraint, these communicate more than words ever will. Many intelligent individuals sabotage themselves by explaining too much. They think clarity proves competence. In reality, over-explanation signals insecurity. When you rush to justify yourself, you imply doubt. When you stay calm and minimal, you imply authority. The dangerously smart let others fill the silence with assumptions that favor them. Perception also governs morality. People excuse behavior from those they admire and condemn the same behavior from those they dislike. This is why being perceived as valuable gives you freedom. Value bends rules. Value rewrites standards. Value creates tolerance. If you are seen as essential, people protect you. If you are seen as replaceable, people test you. This is not personal. It is structural. The dangerously smart focus not on being liked, but on being perceived as necessary. Understand how fragile truth is once perception hardens. When people decide who you are, they stop listening to who you become. Evidence is dismissed. Context is ignored. At that stage, arguing only strengthens resistance. The mind defends its chosen image because changing it feels like humiliation. This is why you must intervene early. Shape perception before others do it for you. Silence is not neutrality, it is surrender. If you do not define yourself, someone else will, and they will not do it generously. Perception also determines power dynamics in conflict. The one who remains composed appears superior. The one who reacts emotionally appears guilty, even when innocent. Calmness is interpreted as control. Control is interpreted as dominance. This is why silence unnerves aggressors more than words ever could. You may feel discomfort learning this because it contradicts the idea of fairness. Good. Fairness is an internal comfort, not an external rule. The world does not distribute outcomes based on accuracy. It distributes them based on belief. The dangerously smart learn to separate inner truth from outer presentation. Internally, they remain precise, self-critical, and adaptable. Externally, they are stable, consistent, and intentional. They do not reveal doubt while deciding. They reveal certainty when acting. People often confuse authenticity with exposure. True authenticity is coherence, not confession. You do not owe the world your uncertainty. You owe it clarity. Oversharing fractures perception. Restraint consolidates it. Watch how those in power reveal very little but seem known by everyone. This is not coincidence. Mystery creates gravity. When people cannot fully read you, they project strength. When they can predict you, they manage you. Perception also determines who is heard. Those perceived as leaders speak less and are quoted more. Those perceived as followers speak more and are ignored. The difference is not intelligence, it is framing. Once you accept that perception rules more than truth, you stop being shocked by success that seems undeserved. You stop being offended by outcomes that seem illogical. You begin to see the invisible architecture behind reputation, influence, and authority. This lesson is not an invitation to become false. It is a warning not to be careless. Truth without strategy is a liability. Intelligence without perception management is exposure. If you want to move freely in a world ruled by minds, you must understand how minds decide what is real.